It's that time again where I start gushing about aliens. It's one of my favorite topics to discuss. It's the one I get most heated about on stream and have the most absurd conversations with chat on stream about. And yesterday, there was a massive UAP congressional hearing that had some very well-established individuals, some very high-ranking individuals that were making testimonies under oath about UAPs and government divisions, as well as general information about things relating to UAPs and the government. It's all very interesting, especially because it's coming from people who have real merit here. It's like substantial credibility for the individuals that have come forward under oath to speak on these things. It's not like they just grabbed random nobodies, right? They didn't go out there and find Jericamo Sloppenheim, who goes to the congressional hearing talking about how the green guys from space probed his chocolate starfish. This is very buttoned up people that have come forward to talk about these things and blow the whistle on UAP departments, even talking about how some people were injured during UAP retrieval programs, and it is fascinating. I haven't had the chance to talk to my father about all of this, whom all of you know is the preeminent expert on anything extraterrestrial. He is the world's best when it comes to anything alien related. I'm sure right now he's hunkered down, doodling away, crunching numbers, theorizing things, all from these new testimonials that have come forward. But I think it's important to note that they don't present any, physical evidence. The evidence that gets presented here about the UAPs and everything is testimonial, which is real evidence, but I don't want anyone coming into this expecting them to wheel out the corpse of the fucking Martian Manhunter or something, or have, an alien smoking a cigarette talking about his time in deep space and his journey to get to Earth. That doesn't happen. Instead, they are talking about departments and different things that have been going on for a while in regards to non-human crafts. And one of the biggest ones is about the Immaculate Constellation program, which is now fully available for anyone to go out there and read, which I think is a very cool thing to do. And also there was this moment. Now I learned about it on stream last night, so I didn't get to do a huge deep dive on stream, but this morning I spent quite a bit of time going over a lot of the big moments, and this one really stood out to me.
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble two F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness.
That's pretty big, considering this is all under oath. And this is someone who was once a counterintelligence operative for the government. This isn't just some random, fucking weirdo in their basement who's locked themselves away feeding into delusions. This is someone that did have a pretty powerful position, at least as I understand it, and many others who came forward here, the same. They all had positions that have real merit for what they're talking about. So it is a big deal to have these testimonials. Now, as I discussed on stream, I still believe aliens are absolutely out there in the universe. Those slimy weasels, I know they're out there having a hoot and a holler, but I truly, sincerely do not believe they have ever been to this little fucking space rock. I just don't. I just think it is so unbelievably unlikely, and if they ever did visit us, we would never know because their technology would be so far beyond our comprehension, and there's no way we'd be able to actually even see it at any point, let alone retrieve some kind of crash. The odds of them crashing in here, there's a higher chance that I get a growth spurt in my 30s. It's just so unlikely. Now, I don't believe anyone during the congressional hearing was lying under oath. Absolutely not. I have no doubt that everyone that was testifying and giving their statements was being 100% truthful. I believe all the departments are real departments. I believe all the programs are real programs, all of that they spoke about. I believe in this case, they believe that there was a real nonverbal communication with a non-human entity. But there's no physical evidence that was presented. There's nothing that was presented that convinces me that, oh, it really was aliens. I know they're being truthful. I'm very confident in that, but that doesn't mean that it's absolutely aliens. For example, this statement about, like, definitively, yes, we have had nonverbal communication with non-human entities. Well, we also thought that back in the 70s with the WOW signal. And there's still a lot of people who believe the WOW signal is irrefutable proof of intelligent life out there, but I just think there's more evidence to suggest that it isn't. There's a lot of other explanations for what the WOW signal really is. Like, just because he believes that there was 100% definitive communication with a non-human entity doesn't mean that that's what it was. There could be something else to explain it, and since we weren't presented with any of what that is, it's now just, okay, I guess I have to assume it was aliens because he believes it's aliens, you know? It's just hard to get me to 100% say, like, yes, it's aliens. I desperately want to. I would be extremely happy to be proven wrong about my take that aliens have never visited us. But at the moment, there just still isn't that proof that gets me there and convinces me of that. But hopefully this is the start of more and more conversations and more information about UAPs and the government's involvement with UAP programs and departments. Maybe we can get some more declassified information and evidence of anything of non-human origin. That would be extremely exciting. If that information and that content exists, I would love for that to start being shared, and this seems like a good step in that direction if all of it truly is of non-human origin. So hopefully this is just the first of many UAP breakthroughs. Did you watch the UAP Congress hearing today? Apparently it was earth-shattering. The UAP thing was today? I'll definitely take a peek. I feel like if this actually was groundbreaking, my dad would have called me ASAP with a big "I told you so."
Live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, you were in the room for that more than 2-hour hearing. What did you learn?
Aliens are real. You won't believe it. And they want to suck my dick right now.
If these technologies are not made by any government, who's making them? Private companies, or are you implying they are crafted by a non-human intelligence?
No, my buddy Eric makes them in his
That's
garage.
precisely why we're here. The problem is that, temporally speaking, over decades, not just the last 10 years, to put this in perspective,
Are these private companies you're implying, or is this non-human intelligence?
it may be both.
Okay.
When it comes to Blue Force technology,
What? Maybe both. Like they're working together, or like there's different UAPs? I don't think they could both be true, right? They're private company aliens. Oh, of course, yeah. What's next? You gonna tell me the aliens unionized or something? Yeah, whatever. Man, I wish they just had 3 titties.
to discuss.
Okay. Are you read into secret UAP crash retrieval programs?
We would have to have a conversation in a closed session, ma'am. I signed documentation 3 years ago that restricts my ability to discuss specifically crash retrievals.
It's like the Suicide Squad. They got like that thing in their neck gonna blow his head off if he talks about it.
And what is in the book is what I was told I'm allowed to talk about.
Has the government conducted secret UAP crash retrieval programs, yes or no?
Yes.
That's not, well, that doesn't necessarily mean they were successful. That just means they might have seen something and then tried to go get it and reclaim it, believing that it could be a UAP. And then what they found could have very well been just my buddy Eric's man-made doohickey. But that would be cool if they have retrieved some.
Were they designed to identify and reverse engineer alien craft, yes or no?
Yes.
So those two yeses right there at the end, very important there. Now, just shortly after that hearing, that was Congresswoman Nancy Mace sharing.
I mean, it's cool to hear, but that's not surprising. I don't think aliens have ever visited Earth. I've made that very clear. I know aliens are out there. I think it's unlikely that we're the only intelligent life. I just don't think they've ever been here. I truly don't. But it's not surprising me to hear, like, I'm assuming it's true because he's under oath, that they had like a program to go retrieve it and try and like reverse engineer it. That doesn't mean that it ever found or produced anything, right? Like, I've had times where I've gone out trying to get laid. I didn't get laid. Shit, I didn't meet anybody. You know? Like, it's you know, you can have those plans, you can try and do those things. It doesn't necessarily mean that it worked. But I think the question should be, have they ever retrieved anything of extraterrestrial origin? Because you can have a department dedicated to reverse engineering it if it's ever retrieved. The question should really just be, have we ever actually gotten anything of extraterrestrial origin? That's what I want an answer to, and some evidence of.
Yes.
See, that's not confirmation they ever got one. Again, that is a program that would aim to retrieve them if there was any. Like, I feel like there's millions... Like, we have a fucking Space Defense Force program, right? They haven't fought off any alien invaders, I'll tell you right now. Apparently, the biggest bombshell during this hearing was documents regarding the Immaculate Constellation program, which is a secret UFO retrieval program the Pentagon is running. They just released them online for everyone to read. Ooh. United States Department of Defense and the intelligence community are withholding information about anomalous phenomena from Congress. It's a testimony from Michael Schellenberger. I do believe we probably have plenty of programs for that. Like, there's no way this guy's lying, not under oath. No shot. I definitely do think there are programs for, like, retrieval of UAPs or, like, any kind of investigation into it, reverse engineering if they ever find one. I just don't think it's ever happened. I don't think there's ever been a alien spacecraft that has ended up here. You don't think UFOs exist at all? I think it is so unbelievably like main character syndrome type shit to think that somehow aliens, if they have faster than light travel or wormhole traveling capabilities, would somehow just crash on our fucking tiny little planet. That would be so unbelievably unlikely because it's incomprehensible to us the technology that they would already have in order to even make it this far. Like, that's so unlikely. And for us to catch a glimpse of them is even more unlikely. If they made it here and we'd somehow see them in a fucking Tic Tac, that's unbelievably unlikely. So the witness is lying? Brother, how many times I gotta say it? No, I don't think they're lying at all. They're talking about programs. I have no doubt these programs exist. Just like we have our Space Defense Force program. But we're not defending the Earth from anything right now. We're not fighting off the fucking Tyranids out there with the space defense program America's got. They exist, I have no doubt. I have no doubt about it. They're definitely not lying. Tic Tac video, probably the most credible we have. Yep, that and the other one from the ship. Those are the two UAP videos that have the least amount of explanation for. What do you think about the theory that aliens created us and are coming now because we're close to ending ourselves? What? I think that's a theory that's based on nothing but someone who really likes anime. If life is found on other moons in our solar system, would people finally stop thinking we are special and we're literally the point of the universe? So for the longest time, I always thought if aliens ever visit us, if aliens ever have visited us and we finally reveal it, I always thought they'd be like a unifying moment because in pretty much every sci-fi property ever, when people speak of humanity or Earth, it's always like one united front of humans. And I always thought if aliens were discovered, that would be that unifying moment where like everyone on Earth comes together. And now I'm 100% sure that would never fucking happen at all. That would just never happen. That just caused so much fucking chaos now. We'd take their oil. Yeah. Man, we would butt fuck them so hard if we could. How disappointed would you be if aliens just looked like humans but with pointy ears or glowing eyes? There is not a single alien design that would actually disappoint me. The only one that would disappoint me is if aliens looked like what that researcher said dudes are going to look like from gaming in 20 years. If they looked like this, then I'd be mad. But anything shy of this, I'm going to be blown away. I'm going to be so happy. Do you think me a fool? Do you really think there would be groundbreaking new alien information and I wouldn't know about it? Ridiculous. I stay at the forefront of all alien developments. I love alien shit. Last night, there was a surprise broadcast from Mexican Congress where they presented supposed alien corpses. And you bet your sweet bippy I was glued to it. Now, I want to start by laying out the foundation here. I'm going to give you all of the eating utensils before feeding you the meal. Basically, what happened is there is a individual by the name of Jaime Maussan, and he claimed that he had 1,000-year-old alien bodies that he presented at Mexican Congress. There's a lot of confusion around this situation right now. People are misled into believing that this was the Mexican government coming forward and just dropping this hot potato on everyone out of nowhere, when that's not the case. This is from an individual, Jaime Maussan, who is a UFOologist and researcher, and he is presenting all of it. And this isn't even his first time doing it. In 2017, he presented yet another mummified alien corpse, not human, but it was later debunked and proven to not be alien at all. So he has done this before, But this time around, he's presenting new corpses and also claiming that there's been extensive research, studies, tests, and scientists working on it to confirm that these are 100% real, authentic, extraterrestrial visitors. Now, he and his team are saying that all of this information is available for any scientists around the world to confirm their findings, which I think is great. Inviting research into these is fantastic, and I guess we can finally know for certain if he's being truthful here, and these are somehow actually alien bodies. I guess they came down to Earth for fucking spring break and just, they lost control of themselves, maybe drank too much and died of liver failure. I have no fucking clue. But we have these corpses from 1,000 years ago. He's claiming these are mummified aliens and has a bunch of tests, allegedly, that they've run on them, and is inviting the rest of the world to do the same. So I'm excited to see if the rest of the world does that, and if they also confirm all of these findings. But now, let's get into talking about the aliens themselves, and then I want to bring on an expert, my father. You all know my father is on the cutting edge of everything alien related. If anyone's going to have an eye to see through the bullshit, it's gonna be old Papa Charles, I'll tell you right now. Oh, it's a little carcass. I couldn't even tell. I don't believe that at all. This is way too stereotypical alien look. I think there is no way. I think there's absolutely no fucking shot. I just don't believe that, though. If this looked actually less like all of the movies depict aliens, I'd be far more on the side of, possibly. But this actually just looks like a prop. From, like, Arrival. Or, not Arrival. What's the, oh my god. What is the one that has the really quintessential grays from back in the day? I can't remember now. They even made, like, little postcards for them. Like, you're invited. Okay. Pretty cool. It'd be wild if these were real and our movie depictions of aliens were spot on. That would be crazy. That would be big. But I don't see why they would bother faking this. I don't see what the gain is other than, like, a good joke. Humano? No humano. I understand that. I feel like aliens are likely to look like giant insects. I think they'd be insectoid as well. Your father would disagree? I don't think he'd believe this. This looks very silly. And especially just to drop it cold turkey out of nowhere on a YouTube stream. Well, I guess it was more than a YouTube stream. This just happens to be one of the places it was broadcast. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So they put it into a database that is able to be accessed by anyone to verify their claims. They show a list of tests that have been done to the bodies, including metallurgy specialists, radiologists, and geneticists. They verified the authenticity and age of the bodies. They showed scans of their insides that showed metal implants in some of them, as well as eggs with embryos and organic material inside of them. Okay, well, if anyone can access it, it should be super easy for every other scientist in the world to start running tests on it, then to confirm it. That should be an easy slam dunk then if it's real. Oh, it's a 43 gig file. Holy shit. Well, if it's all there, then put it in the labs of the brightest scientists in the world. They'd all want to get a piece of that action, I imagine. Let them run wild. We could win the alien war if they actually look like that. In hand-to-hand combat, for sure. But their tech to get here must be nuts. So now let's go ahead and break down what we've seen here. Judging from the bodies, they're not that large. They're not, like, imposing in stature. I actually feel confident that I could beat them in a fight, whereas normally the only age group I'm comfortable at beating in hand-to-hand combat is ages 12 and below. I feel like there's just not many children that would beat me in pugilistic combat, and I feel the same for this alien race if they're all about that same size. And who's to say that these aren't like their elite warriors and the normal aliens could be even smaller? Like, I feel like I'd have no problem just wiping the fucking floor with them, just feeding them knuckle sandwiches out the wazoo. So that's nice. That makes me feel a lot more confident should this be a real alien, and they all look like that. I feel like we'd have a really good chance if it came to, like, fighting them with our bare hands. Now, apparently one of the aliens also had eggs inside of it, so I guess it was pregnant. maybe it's possible we could dust the cobwebs off and hatch those puppies ourselves. That would be pretty wild. But now anyway, you've heard from the dumb Neanderthal, Charles White Jr., but let's hear from the preeminent expert in alien research, Charles White Sr. I've given you my perspective. I don't necessarily believe this, but I'm going to withhold full judgment for the rest of the world's scientific studies on these bodies. Hopefully those results and those studies will be conducted soon. But let's see what my dad had to say.
Me.
Hey.
What's up?
You look at the alien corpses?
No. Where's that?
How have you not seen them yet? Go look at them right now and tell me what you think.
I'm working on the Top Fuel dragster.
Well, the Top Fuel dragster can wait. You gotta see the alien corpses. I need an expert's opinion.
Why do you care? Because you want to make fun of me?
I'm not making fun of you. I just want to know what you think about it.
So where do they claim they got these things from?
The Nazca lines. They claim they're 1,000 years old.
Well, I know all about the Nazca lines.
Yeah, I knew you would.
They look awful small. I mean, to me, it looks like a fucking paper mache rock or something.
So, you don't think it's real alien evidence?
I don't think it's real. I mean, not to me. That's not real alien evidence. That could be any video. Hell, I could build that myself. With some paper mache.
Okay. All right. So this one does not have your stamp of approval as legitimate.
No. But all the other shit in the world does, like all the construction and all the other stuff. I mean, this is like, I don't know. This is too phony to me.
All right, so it's not as convincing to you as Puma Punku and all that.
Fuck no, not even close.
Okay, well, you heard it here first. If my dad doesn't believe it's real alien evidence, then dag nabbit, it's just not real alien evidence at the end of the day. So he's not super convinced of it. He's, of course, going to keep his finger on the pulse, as will I. Since they are inviting the rest of the world to study these mummified remains, I'm hoping that we'll get some conclusive yeses or nos on if it's extraterrestrial or not. I feel like that shouldn't be super hard to prove if it's a fucking alien, if it's something that we've never seen before, and, I feel like that'd be kind of easy if it's all real, but we'll wait and see. Either way, it was still just a wild development from out of nowhere, so definitely wanted to talk about it. That's really about it. So, yeah. It's time you and I have a very important talk. Might be an awkward discussion, but it's a very significant one in every person's life. The old birds and ETs. We need to discuss aliens a little more in depth because there's a lot of misinformation floating around about what I believe in when it comes to these beautiful cosmic bastards out there, and, well, I want to set the record straight. All of you know, my dad loves aliens. I'd argue he's one of the biggest alien enthusiasts in this country right now. And he's very passionate about this topic. So am I. I am also very passionate about aliens, but more so because I find a lot of the theories that pop up about aliens visiting us, and here's UFO footage, and it's just like this poorly photoshopped image of two colanders stacked on top of each other, wiggling around in 240p, and it's black and white and just blurry out the wazoo. They're like, no, it's real footage of a UFO flying around. Like, I laugh at that kind of stuff. Or, like, the alien bodies that keep being discovered. Like the fucking potato alien from 3 days ago, where people were convinced there was an alien in someone's garden because they had this, like, interdimensional cosmic abortion that just plopped into their garden. They're like, look, finally, irrefutable proof to convince all the doubters. We got an alien body. And it just looks like a shriveled up mushroom with nipples on it. Like, that does not look like an alien at all. And you also have to ask yourself the question, if an alien race is advanced enough to reach Earth, it means they've cracked faster than light travel, one, so they're already well beyond our comprehension technologically. How the fuck would they just crash land here and end up in someone's garden? Do they just come to Earth to die? Like, alright, we'll take the space cruiser out. I'm looking for a good place to just die. I'll choose Earth, and this one random person's garden seems like a nice spot. It just doesn't make sense. It's not like it's just going to be some freak accident where they crash into Earth and die, and our weaponry certainly wouldn't be effective against something that technologically advanced if they're able to visit us. It's just illogical. Like, that kind of stuff makes me laugh. So when it comes to aliens, I'm very passionate because the comical nature of it is unmatched, really. But I do still firmly believe there's alien life out there in the universe. It's too big for there not to be, in my opinion. I just firmly don't think they have ever visited Earth. Ever. My dad does not agree. We don't see eye to eye when it comes to aliens. My dad is a firm believer that aliens have not only visited our planet, but helped us evolve and advance, all the way back into ancient times. He is a big proponent of ancient aliens. And while I too am an enjoyer of ancient aliens, it's for an entirely different reason. It's because I think it is very entertaining because of how outlandish it is. Meanwhile, my father subscribes to the belief that Ancient Aliens is right on the money when it comes to, like, aliens building pyramids and Pumapunku and all of that kind of stuff. So I just want to set the record straight. I believe aliens are out there. I feel like you'd be a fool to think that we're alone in the universe. I just really have seen no compelling evidence that convinces me they've ever visited Earth in any way, shape, or form. But my dad very much disagrees. And he wants to do some kind of, like, panel where he tries to, like, really convince me of it. Like, he wants to put together, like, a video showcase of it, which I've encouraged him to do because I think it'd be amazing. But we haven't done that yet. I also went a little bit deeper on stream about, like, my dad's alien beliefs versus mine, so I'm just going to go ahead and play those clips. I just don't want there to be any more confusion, because I keep seeing people say that I don't believe in aliens or something, or on the other side of the spectrum, people saying that I believe aliens helped us build the pyramids and fucking blessed us with fiber optic internet or something, like all kinds of different things, because wires are getting crossed here, because my dad talks about aliens so much, and I talk about my dad talking about aliens so much, and then everything just gets all, you know, confuddled into, like, this, you know, knowledge soup. So I just wanted to make it very clear here. But anyway, here's the stream clips that go a little more in depth. It's kind of already been cracked, but he just doesn't believe the official explanation because my dad, he's like an engineer, and he just really doesn't believe that people back then would be able to make these cuts on these blocks. And that's the thing he harps on a lot. He just really thinks people back then were stupid as fuck. He really does. He thinks not only were they stupid, they just didn't have tools to make cuts on stone. Well, at least cuts like this on stone. The H blocks. So how did they do it? According to my dad, the aliens did it for him. He doesn't have an explanation as to why. He just thinks the aliens came down here and just fucking started carving H on these blocks. He doesn't really have, like, a reason as to why. He just says, well, we can't know, they're smarter than us. And I'm like, damn, that's such an easy cop-out. If aliens did help make it, why the hell would they only use stone and not give early humans advanced metal or something similar? Are they stupid? That's what I said. Like, I'm basically just reliving, like, our arguments that we have back and forth, and they're not arguments, like, they're good-spirited, but, like, I always say, if the aliens did this, why? And he just says, well, we can't know, they're smarter than us. Okay. And then I say, if aliens did this, why are they still using primitive shit? You could have easily made this out of, like, metals or something. And usually what he'll say is the aliens wanted to teach humans how to do it, to help them advance or something along those lines. And I'm like, if they wanted to do that, why didn't they leave any other messages or instructions? And he says they did. It's called the pyramids. They're perfectly aligned with Orion's belt. It's their message to us. And I say, what is that message? He's like, well, we don't know. They're smarter than us. We can't possibly know. And I'm like, well, it's a fucking very ineffective message then, isn't it? I used to watch Ancient Aliens back in the day, bro. The shit they come up with is hilarious. They unironically said the Bible story about Jonah being swallowed by a whale is false. He was actually abducted by an alien submarine. We talked about that yesterday. Yeah, my dad fully disavows 99% of ancient aliens, but really believes that they know their shit when it comes to the pyramids. And I guess Pumapunku by extension, because they covered that. They have a whole goddamn episode on, like, Sasquatch being an alien, or dropped off by aliens or something. I already forgot. Have you heard of the Intergalactic Federation? That's kind of part of the secret space program. They're adjacent. But yes, I am familiar. This even got referenced in 2020, if you guys remember this. Former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist and Trump knows about it. He said, a galactic federation has been waiting for humans to reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. So this kind of kicked that whole thing off. What's the most heated alien argument you had with your dad? I don't know. Heated's just not the right word, because it's always comical. Like, we're usually both giggling, but he's very passionate about it. So I guess he kind of gets heated. He'll start, like, really, like, raising his voice about it. He's like, Charlie, I built cars for fucking 50 years. I know engineering. The people back then didn't have the tools or the fucking brain power to build the pyramids. It's simple engineering, son. When are you gonna stop being so stupid? But, like, he's not being mean about it. He's just getting, like, really animated. Speaking of ancient aliens, remember that episode where they said giraffes used to have short necks? Blame it on the aliens? Or am I on crack? That sounds like ancient aliens. There was even a whole meme for a while that was passed around Reddit where they had Sukalos, who my dad fucking loves. Before I, like, watched more ancient aliens outside of the homework he assigned me with the pyramids episode, my dad was like, Charlie, you gotta look at this guy. His name is Giorgio Sukalos. He knows his shit. And then it turns out he's the guy from all the memes where he does this and it just says, aliens. He's that guy. And I felt almost shame. I was like, Dad, no. Not Sukalos. This can't be your expert source. It can't be. And sure enough, it was. And Sukalos is like the worst offender of just blaming everything on aliens. So in the pyramid episode, I think it was Sukalos, there was like a speculation like, this pyramid didn't have a tomb in it. So then why was it the way that it was? And Sukalos comes in and said, well, it's because they were communicating directly with aliens in the intergalactic cosmos far, far away. And he's like, well, do you have a source for that? Like, that's quite a leap. Like, how do you know that? Sounds like he's just messing with you. Doesn't sound like he actually believes it. No. No, you couldn't be more wrong. Since I was a child, my dad has been on the aliens and pyramids. I remember being a baby boy, a toddler, and my dad would try and have these profound talks with me where he'd sit me down and be like, listen, son, it might not be this year, it might not be 10 years, it might not be 20 years, but one day, you're gonna see, we're gonna find out that the aliens built those fucking pyramids. We will learn that the aliens helped us advance in our primitive stages. Like, I remember as far back as my brain will allow me that he has always been on that. Since day one. He's committed to the joke. It's not a joke to him, I'll tell you right now. Even tonight he texted me. He's like, so I see you talked about those stupid garden alien potato things or whatever. What did he say again? You say, what's that new alien vid? Bunch of bullshit. You gotta do one about Puma Punku. Love you. That was at 8:23. He is always on alien mode. You know what it is? I talked about this on stream. I'll mention it again. I think what happened is, my dad, when he was a teenager, he always, like, believed that, like, he just really, because my dad is, like I said, he does so much engineering and has his whole life, he just really can't wrap his head around people back then being able to make, like, sophisticated stuff, like pyramids and fucking giant H's, I guess. And I think he probably, for a while, harbored this belief that it must have been the aliens because it's so advanced, but was probably more open-minded to it, like, to being proven wrong, like, hey, no, that's not what happened, and here's how they did it, which we have a lot of evidence to support a lot of theories on how these things were made. But what happened, what really cemented him in this way, is my dad's roommate was a U.S. Army lieutenant? No. Major? I think it was a major. I can't remember the order. But he was a pretty high-ranking, like, a person in the military, and he worked at a MacDill Air Force Base, which is a huge Air Force base in Tampa. And they were roommates for the longest time. Even, like, after leaving the military, they remained roommates, remained very close. And he was an alcoholic, unfortunately. Very sad set of circumstances. He was not in a good way. But my dad swears by this story that he was telling the truth. One day, his roommate came back, fucking blasted, per usual, and he told my dad that, that day on the base, they had recovered an alien corpse, and that MacDill Air Force Base had an alien body there. And my dad swears by it, fucking swears by it, that he wasn't being lied to. He was in his right mind enough to reveal that information. Like, he's usually very tight-lipped. This isn't something he would normally do. It probably rattled him to the core. And I think that was the moment the switch was flipped in my dad's brain, where it's like, okay, I'm right. The aliens are here, and they've been here. I think that's what happened. When really, what I think happened is the guy had a lot of mental problems, alcohol abuse, a lot of terrible things, and I think it may have just been associated with that. I don't think they actually had a fucking alien body on the base. You gotta find that guy and see if he was telling the truth. Well, I need a Ouija board for that because he's dead. Yeah, he passed away. So that information is, that's with him now, in the afterlife. The aliens got him. He knew too much. That's probably what it was. Thanks for the gift sub, Couch. What kind of information do you think was lost in the Library of Alexandria? You don't think the Egyptians had sophisticated tools? Well, hey, what the fuck? I have been firmly on the side of the people back then were still very smart, very resourceful, and actually had a very good understanding of, like, tools and all of that. They had the means at their disposal to make these things. You're barking up the wrong tree. I'm on your side. Thanks to resub, Hubie. But as for the Library of Alexandria, God only knows what information was lost in that. They had Stanleys back then. Yeah, they probably fought wars over Stanley Cups back then. I did more research on Tsoukalos. Motherfucker unironically said Excalibur was an alien laser weapon. That does sound about par for the course. That's the Giorgio Tsoukalos I've come to know. Archaeology degree checking in. The thing with Puma Punku is simply we have not found the tools they used. Look up Cyclopean masonry. Ancient Greeks and Romans saw these walls of huge, perfectly fit stones and figured, surely only Cyclops could have built this. 1,000 years later, we figured out what tools they used and decided the OG theory was cringe. Well, from what I recall, and it's been years since I bothered digging into Puma Punku, they actually did find the molds for tools they used to carve out the H-blocks, and the tools, like the molds, what they were making, would be able to make those cuts. So I don't think there's a lot of mystery left to it, from what I remember. You ever wonder if there was a case that we did see actual proof of alien life but just wrote it off as fake because it looked so unbelievable? I don't think anything that the general public has ever seen was alien, like real alien life. But I do think there's probably been, like, maybe something through, like, one of the, like, I don't know, maybe the James Webb Telescope or something that they've seen. It's like, oh, that's like actual alien life that they just haven't published. That's what I think. I don't think there's anything layman like you and I would have seen. Does your dad believe in the Men in Black? If so, what are his thoughts on them? No. The statistics of there not being alien life is unfathomably higher than the statistics of there not being life. The chances of us intersecting is also astronomical. I've said a million times, I firmly, truly believe there's alien life out there. I just don't think it has ever crossed paths with Earth. I really don't think that's happened. Ever. Do you by chance know about the signal that came from space in 1977 that we never really found out where it came from? Oh my god, not the fucking WoW signal again. We're not going down this shit. We're not doing this again. We've already covered the fucking WoW signal. Not again. Next we're gonna get into warp drives or some goofiness. No more. No more. We've barked up that tree plenty. Have you heard of Teotihuacan? It's an ancient city in Mexico that ancient aliens believe is an alien computer. Their proof is that it looks kind of like a circuit board. I'll be the judge of that. I know my way around circuit boards. I'm guessing this one is the most circuit board-esque. Maybe there's a reason why aliens don't visit, like what can they do with a bunch of old dinosaurs? Thanks for some spaghetti. There's just so many different ways you can toss around that thought experiment. I just think faster than light travel is probably just not cracked by any life right now, would be my guess. And even if it was, I don't think they would touch us. They just be no reason to. They wouldn't need anything from us. If they have faster than light travel, we can offer them nothing. Except memes. And OnlyFans, I guess, if they don't have that in their world. Search the Teotihuacan alien computer. It shows a comparison with a real circuit board. I didn't need more convincing. I already bought in, but sure. Those bastards. They hid their circuit board in plain sight. And they thought they'd get away with it. They thought they were slick. Don't show this to your dad. I don't think my dad would believe in that one. Though I wonder if I, like, dressed it up well enough. Like, Dad, you know, we may not see eye to eye on all the pyramids and stuff, but what do you think about Teotihuacan alien computers? And he'd probably hit me with question marks and be like, check this out. I saw this today, and it turns out this entire place is a giant alien circuit board. And I bet he'd be like, I told you! I knew it! I'd maybe just need to put it in the right context, because I feel like if I just came at him like, what do you think of this? He'd be like, it's kind of baloney. But if I let in like, I'm starting to believe it, he'd probably be like, okay, this might be some good shit. You gotta start making up your own conspiracies to convince him, hire some artists to create some fake images for you. That's just diabolical. That is something I wanted to do on Facebook. I think it was about 5 years ago. And I was getting pretty serious about it. I was drumming up my own conspiracy, and I was going to hire some artists to start putting together like a lot of material for it, and I was going to start spreading fake conspiracies on Facebook for fun. But I ended up not doing it. There are many planets that look like they can support alien life. What do you think they'd look like? Again, insectoid. I said it yesterday. I think they'd look insectoid. Like, I don't think they'd be fuckable. I don't think they'd be hot. I think they'd just look like bugs. I recently got into a massive argument with my own chat about aliens visiting Earth, which is a crazy war to have fought. You know, it was a bloody battle. I'm sure most of you know, because I've talked about it before, my dad is super into aliens. He firmly believes they've helped us build the pyramids, given us fiber optic internet. You know, I'm surprised he hasn't started talking about aliens, how they farted 5G onto our planet or something. Like, he's big into the aliens thing and always has been since I was a kid, so I've been inundated with all kinds of alien stuff ever since I was young. So I have loved the field, but I have never been a believer that aliens have ever visited this planet, ever. I do think there is life outside of our planet, obviously, in the massive, unfathomably huge scope of the universe. I think it's unlikely there's no other life out there, but I don't think it's ever visited us. It would have to have somehow found faster than light travel, wormhole, something, which is so far above our comprehension that if they did actually do it, we wouldn't have even been able to process them visiting us, I imagine. Like, it is just so well beyond us that I just don't think it's happened. So I have been firmly against the idea that aliens have visited us, but I've always been open-minded in wanting it to be true. I would love to be able to fist bump my dad, be like, hey, Pops, you were right. And here's proof of the aliens having visited us. I did a keg stand with one of them at my frat brother's last party. Like, that'd be great, you know? But I've just never seen any compelling evidence about it. And we got to talking about it on stream, and a couple of chatters were very adamant that I was off my gourd for not believing every single abduction story ever told and every single sighting ever made, including the recent Las Vegas one, which was confirmed to just be casino lights reflected in the fucking sky, but they're writing that off as it was like a cover-up for aliens. Like, it's outrageous. In order to convert me to their side, to believe in them, to persuade me, they would tell like these anecdotes. Like, I read this story once on these forums where, you know, this guy's friend Eric was playing basketball in his driveway one evening, and then all of a sudden everything went white and his memory was erased, but he had his butthole prolapse. Like, the anal prolapse is signs of the aliens having experimented on him, and he lost 6 hours of memories. How is that proof? Why am I supposed to take that at face value? But they would drop these things like the Eric butthole incident and have me look it up and be like, how can you not believe us? This is ridiculous. You're spitting in the face of real proof. So I was losing my goddamn mind having this argument with them, and eventually we ended up going to something called like the Ariel School incident, which is a school in Zimbabwe which claims to have been visited by aliens, where 62 school children drew in crayon their encounter with a UFO and aliens who warned them about the future. And I got called crazy for doubting the legitimacy of it because you have 62 school students that drew very different crayon drawings that don't agree with one another. Some of the drawings have them coming down in a goddamn space potato. Others have like this elaborate, huge UFO, very generic. And then the aliens, they can't even agree on what they looked like. Some claim that they had long black hair. So literally fucking looking like me coming out of the spaceship. Some of them drew the aliens bald, like very generic alien baldness. Like none of the kids' drawings even like agree with others. Like it's such weak evidence, but they're using it as fact. Like how could anyone doubt us when this exists? So I'm just going to show you some of the clips from the stream because it got heated. And then we opened Pandora's box and started talking about warp drives for some reason. It got off the rails. It got a little crazy. So I just wanted to show some of that. But I want to make it clear. I would love if there was real compelling evidence of aliens having visited us. Like actual encounters with aliens. That'd be great. And there have been government-released documents and footage from pilots and shit from unidentified flying aircrafts, this unidentified air phenomenon. But none of it's like aliens per se. It's just we don't fully understand exactly how it works, so it's unidentified as of the moment. It's never definitive proof of aliens being here. It's just we don't have a full explanation on it yet. But it could be. Yeah, it could be, and I find that stuff to be pretty interesting, but I don't view that as, hey, here's proof that extraterrestrials are here for some reason. But anyway, let me just show you how the stream went. A leading UFO expert has investigated dozens of sightings over an impressive 45-year career and says aliens don't come in peace and have an agenda. I wonder what the agenda is. They come down here just to read our dank memes, shitpost on Twitter. I wouldn't say they're peaceful due to the thousands of UFO abductions worldwide. I woke up and my ass is sore. Damn you, aliens! Not again! I've been a big fan of aliens shit, UFO investigative shit for a long time. I have never once read, watched, or listened to a compelling abduction story that made me be like, this man actually he got abducted. At no point did I ever once even remotely come close to believing any of the abduction stories. Have you seen that documentary about a guy with 9 alien kids? What is that? What are we talking? What? No, I can't say I've seen that. What the fuck does that? He has 9 kids with extraterrestrials? This man's spreading the humanity seed throughout the cosmos? There were 30 plus kids who saw aliens at their school and drew them. If there is one group that I trust more than anyone, it's kids. They're notorious for not having an imagination and not just going with what everyone else is doing. That's what I would hinge my alien evidence on, is children's drawings. Being in all black, possibly showing medium-long black hair. Were the aliens just clones of me or something? What do you mean? The aliens have normal human hair? Well, there's no hair here. One of them was bald, I guess. Maybe he got made fun of on the ship. Not only would the beings have to have somehow discovered faster-than-light travel to make it here, it would have somehow had to elude everyone else's gaze and have only a couple people, in this case 62 school children, see them. Like, the amount of crazy coincidence that must all occur for only a small group to see that is very unlikely. I'm ready to... There is nobody on the planet that wants alien encounters to be real more than me. If this has compelling evidence, I would be elated. I would love that. I want to believe. But it is so unbelievably unlikely, and all of the evidence is so shit that it's impossible, in good conscience, to believe that there are aliens that visit us periodically. The circumstances for such a thing to be true are very, 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 very low possibility. So for multiple days, there have been headlines of UFOs hovering over the skies of Zimbabwe. And the only evidence we have is some children's drawings. Surely that would be major fucking news. And also, why would the aliens just be hovering over Zimbabwe? What are they doing there? They're just hovering there, doing nothing. Standing there menacingly like the hash-slinging slasher. What would be the purpose? Why would they have come there? Let's go down this for a minute. So the aliens came here to warn us about the future. And the optimal way of warning us was to go to a small school in Zimbabwe and tell a group of children. That was the best way of delivering this warning of the future. They were talking about COVID. Imagine this is all very true. The aliens actually did just fucking boot, scoot, and boogie all the way down to Earth just to land here and be like, hey, there's this little thing called COVID. I'm letting you know it's right around the corner. No good. No good. Alright, good luck with that. We're out. We've done our job. Message delivered. I don't think they were visited by aliens warning us about the future. Let's play with that for just a moment. Going back to that. Not only were they intergalactic travelers, they're fucking time travelers, warning us about our future. That's another crazy technological leap. And if they're that smart, that advanced, why would they tell a group of children at a small school? And also, why would they ever even make direct contact with people? They could just transmit the message. There's millions of cases. So what you've just shown to me is you believe what everyone says. You don't believe anyone's making things up. You don't believe in people having, for example, a sleep terror, which a lot of it boils down to sleep paralysis, where they have these very real feelings at night, where they're half asleep, half dreaming, and a lot of it gets chalked up to sleep paralysis. So you don't believe in any of that. You don't believe in mass hysteria, I would imagine then. You don't believe in manifested group thinking, where if someone believes they saw something, other people mysteriously start to have memories or visions of the same thing. You just take everything at face value. And no one's ever lying. Oh, wow. Jesus, you're having a full meltdown. Anal probing isn't even a real thing, you moron. You get all your UFO info from fucking movies and TV. You get all of your UFO info from fucking TV, too! What do you mean? All of your sightings are on TV. What are you fucking talking about? And then you said reptilians are part of the aliens. And faster than light is an outdated theory. Warp drives are proven. You're misinformed. What are you... What? Are you having an episode of psychosis? Jack Sarfati talks about the technology behind warp drives. Who mentioned fucking warp drives? I don't know why you're harping on that subject. That word had not left my mouth until I read your comment history of your 86 message meltdown. I'm not talking about fucking warp drives. Why do I need to do research on warp drives? That goddamn name didn't leave my mouth. He brought it up. But warp drives are an important part of alien lore. Maybe, but I wasn't talking about fucking warp drives. Jesus Christ. You asked for answers. On what? Warp drive? When did I ask for answers on warp drive? I want alien evidence. What the fuck are you talking about? Who am I talking? That is evidence? So, let's assume every alien has their own warp drive motorcycle. Why are they visiting trailer parks and fucking small schools to warn us about the future than only telling children? That isn't an answer. You weirdo. That chatter didn't read jack shit. It's theoretical physicist, meaning it hasn't been put into effect and there's no way to test any theories. I don't care about warp drives if they're real or not. God damn it. Jesus fucking Christ. Crazy UFO sighting in Colombia just dropped on r/UFOs. Let me see. Oh, right here, I see it. Those dirty bastards. Oh, they're very small. Very tiny little aliens. Go talk to them. I want to meet them. Knock on their door. Holy fuck. I always knew it. What? This would be a lot of effort for a prank, especially in what appears to be a rural, low-income country. A lot of effort for a prank? Get out of town! The picture at the end is pretty wild. This is so sad. This is just so fucking sad. I thought for sure the Redditors would not be believing in this. No, but usually r/UFOs is a little more sensible than that. Hope this is real, but I'm dubious. Hope this is, but I'm dubious? You're dubious. If that isn't the most it insists upon itself shit I've ever read. Oh, shit. The witness reported suffering nausea, dizziness, and severe headache after handling the object. Symptoms that forced him to seek medical attention and undergo various clinical examinations. Though the origin and nature of the artifact remain unknown, the man insists his experience was real and has clear photographs showing him holding the mysterious object. Where's the object now? Did it vanish? Like a thief into the night. It came all this way. Survived entry into the atmosphere just to land in a bush. Not only that, and then to end up on this guy's bedside. Those aliens weren't expecting that. That nipple means business. And now they know who the boss is. Your skepticism is dubious. I suppose it may be a tad doob, but I'm just not convinced. Is this post actually doing numbers right now? Is this actually circulating? You know, I'm just gonna look at it myself. It'd be... I would actually be surprised if this one started getting traction. Like the News Nation egg, I could see why some people would believe in that. Because it's an egg in night vision. They'd probably be like, that could be a fucking alien. Like, okay, fair enough. But, no way this one, right? It's not exactly blowing up on Twitter, but I do see this one, which has some people debating the authenticity. And then one guy's really passionate. He says, "For fuck's sake, seriously? This looks pretty bloody convincing. And is it the too good to be true category? Where is the orb now?" That's a real person, by the way. That guy exists on this planet with you and me. Wait, what is this? This just came up when I was looking at this orb. Is there multiple orbs? Is this not new? Manchester Airport UFO recreated. 3D models have been created of the orb UFO that was recently sighted and captured at Manchester Airport, UK. Oh my god, there was another orb! Ah! It was a Pokeball, damn it! What is that, an Ultra Ball? Holy shit. It's 343 Guilty Spark. That's even more serious than I thought. Pilot films clearest UFO landing at Manchester Airport, but then suddenly vanishes.
And recording a silver orb-shaped UFO origins and the lengths to which officials might go to keep such sightings under wraps. The pilot's detailed account...
Not very hard. They clearly didn't go to such extreme lengths. It's on Twitter. Hasn't been taken down.
Mysterious suspension of his social media accounts after sharing the footage in an area adjacent to the tarmac. The object was about the size of a small car. And
I made that same marble in Maya when I was in college, when I was still a digital arts major before switching to exercise physiology. This is like one of the first 3D models they have you do because it works with texture. But that doesn't mean that it can't be little bastards in there from outer space. They wanted to observe the airport. See what our aviation looks like.
The plot thickened when, just hours after posting the sighting on Twitter, Bigelow's account was suspended without explanation.
The cover-up!
Undeterred,
The cover-up!
he turned to Reddit to share his experience and engage with the UFO community, only to have his Reddit account similarly taken down shortly.
Oh
after
my
his
god,
posts gained traction.
it goes too deep.
These actions have fueled widespread speculation of a deliberate attempt to suppress information about the sighting.
I always love that shit. That's always so good. That's how you really have to sell it to them. And then everything was suppressed. Except for every video ever and every person ever talking about it, including a 2 million subscriber YouTube channel. They didn't find this one somehow. It's hilarious that even when one lands and sits at ground level at an airport only a few hundred yards away, it's still blurry and out of focus in a world filled with 4K megapixel camera phones. That's part of the alien technology. It blurs it. This is compelling. I wasn't sold on the Columbia sphere. But this one? Whoops. This one? Jesus. I'll eventually click the right tab. That one's got teeth. Florida! No, they're here! God damn it!
Oh, there it is.
Fucking pinball in the sky! No! How much time is left? The aliens are everywhere. All at once. Yeah, take a good look at this video. It'll be off the internet by tomorrow. They're going to suppress it. Oh yeah, here's the Columbia sphere. How is it looking It's crazy. It's just so crazy. Oh my god, another orb. This one followed the plane. Orb!
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Scott. Now this is something I discovered from a friend on Facebook, and I'll
More like a friend something you discovered from a friend on Adobe After Effects. What the fuck is this, man? You've got to do better than that. Come on, man. Miraculous Jesus figure in forest fire. Sacred heart revealed. AI enhanced image. This channel is awesome. If I may, why would Jesus put his figure in fire? Like, I feel like that'd be the antithesis of how Jesus would want people to perceive an image of him. Fire and flames is associated with hell. This would be more akin to like a plot from Lucifer.
This is corrected by AI. Before AI on the left, after AI on the right. Look at the detail. AI on the right, normal on the left. This is
how is that Jesus?
Look at the difference.
Since when is Jesus fucking the evil dad from Codename Kids Next Door? How the fuck? And what is he doing? This looks more like a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
And does it look like anything familiar to you? Anything you've ever seen in your entire life?
No.
Have you ever seen this before?
Absolutely not.
Because I think you have.
I don't.
Hit that
you'd
like
be
and
wrong.
subscribe button. Helps me out so much. Thank you. The Burning Man, for real, creature of Jesus. And look at this. The burning person also has a similar heart in the same place. In the
I jumped the gun. There's Jesus. There. Burning alive. In a forest fire. Just the way he wanted us to perceive him, I suppose. What a compelling argument.
Exactly like the burning
Oh, this
heart.
just reminded me of something. I saw this floating around earlier. Matt sent it to me. You guys remember that post on Facebook with me as Jesus, and a lot of Facebook moms really thought that it's a picture of Jesus? Apparently a post on Reddit got kind of popular because their grandma also has that same photo on their like mantle. And that shit goes crazy. Are you honored? I think that's very sweet. If it brings her comfort, I don't mind being on her mantle watching over her, wishing her well on her daily routine. No, this isn't the exact same one that I covered last time. This is the one from the Moist Wrestling League, and then got big on Facebook. The other one was this, the Share If You Love Jesus. But the original didn't have like the halo in it or anything, so it was more convincing to the Facebook audience or some shit, I guess. I'll have to keep my eyes peeled on this channel. They're breaking ground on all the latest. Apparently there was a rabbit on Mars. Fucking Peter Cottontail went cosmic.
And fast forward so you can see this object, and it looks like it's in cone shape. I mean, I've never seen a module or a Russian module in this shape. It doesn't look like...
Neither have I, but I have seen this shape in a snack called Bugles. Any connection? Food for thought. That was eye-opening stuff. That was interesting. What an incredible day for father-son bonding between me and my dad. With all of the alien information that's come to light today, with the Mexican Congress broadcasting some alien corpses, supposedly, my dad and I have been going back and forth spitballing, and I have been doing a deep dive into the most rancid underbelly the internet has to offer when it comes to alien information. Sometimes when you stare too long into the abyss stares back into you. I'll tell you what, sports fans, if there are aliens out there, I'm on their watch list for how deep I've gone. I'm on their ass like a hemorrhoid right now. I'm having a close encounter with a third kind. You might see my eyes roll back into my skull and have me levitating out of the chair here in a moment. Point is, I have found some very intriguing information in regards to these alien bodies. But let me bring you up to speed just in case you don't know what I'm talking about. I posted a video earlier today going over the whole situation, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen it by now, but I'm just going to give you the cliff notes, bring you up to speed on the lore with what's going on. Last night, an individual named Jaime Maussan had brought some supposed alien bodies into Mexican Congress, and this was broadcast to the entire world. He was making claims that these are authentic extraterrestrials, and he had a ton of tests to prove it. All the tests and all the information is public, and he invited anyone else in the world to come into the Thunderdome and analyze the alien bodies to confirm and verify that these are the real deal. Unfortunately, these aliens don't have three massive honkers. They're not goth, big-titted alien babes. They are little goofballs. These tiny little goobers are being shown in Congress, and he's bringing up a ton of pictures as well as data and saying that they were found at the Nazca Lines. They're about 1,000 years old, and they are actual aliens. Now, a little background on Jaime Maussan. He is a UFOologist and a journalist. His main profession is journalism. And this is not the first time he's done this. He also had another mummified remain that he called an alien back in 2017. It was debunked. And this one here is taking the world by storm because a lot of people believe the Mexican government is the ones revealing this. They're breaking the magician's code and they're showcasing real aliens. When that's not the real story here. It is Jaime Maussan and his team that's presenting this. It's not the Mexican government. It's become widespread confusion. Basically, they platformed him and he presented. Not an official endorsement from the Mexican government, at least not as far as I understand here. So, now that you're brought up to speed, what have I found? What new information could have possibly come to light in only 12 hours? Well, this is going to open your third eye here. Get ready to activate your Sharingan because the truth's coming in hot. It turns out these alien bodies aren't new. In fact, these were debunked in 2021. There's a really great YouTube video that goes over exactly what these are. And according to this, they're not aliens. Now, before getting into the video, I know a lot of you are going to say, well, what about all of the tests? And those haven't been, confirmed as faked or fraudulent or anything like that. So again, if the rest of the world truly does have access to this information and are invited out to actually study these mummified remains and conclude that they are real and authentic, that'd be amazing. Nobody wants them to be real aliens more than me and my dad. But it's just hard to really believe that because there are so many things working against it. I've seen a lot of cope from the community about why they look so stereotypically alien, like the movie depictions, and what they keep defaulting to is saying that people that worked on the movie sets modeled their alien design after real alien encounters and paintings from back in the day, or they'd actually seen aliens like at fucking Area 51 or something, so they made the costumes and the effects to look like that, so it'd be warming us up to what real aliens look like. And to me, that's just a load of baloney. We're teetering on Tumblr fanfic with that reach. I would like to ask you, what's more likely? That, or that whoever had these mummified remains modeled them after our perception of aliens from movies? It becomes even more likely that that's the case when you consider where it comes from. The source here, Jaime Maussan, whom is regarded by some as a hoaxer, who has had similar things in the past be proven completely wrong. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fucking please stop fooling me. You're making me feel dumb. It's, again, nothing's been 100% confirmed here, but I would just like to present to you the evidence here from 2021 with these bodies that suggest it's not actually alien remains.
Now let's study the X-rays of the small mummies. Ufologists go as far as calling them humanoid reptiles. So what do we see? Same stuff. A hodgepodge of human and animal bones.
The channel is called Scientists Against Myths, and they tackled this alien mummified remain phenomenon all the way back in 2021. They even use some of the same pictures that were presented to Mexican Congress last night. So I do believe these are the same mummified remains. I don't think there's any wiggle room to make a real argument that what's being analyzed by this channel is different than what was presented last night. I think it's pretty clear that these are the same.
Here's a mummy named Josephine. A real beauty. Instead of humer eyes, she sports femurs or thigh bones. Her legs are even more baffling.
Immediately the question needs to be asked, if this is a real extraterrestrial body, why does it have the same bones us cringe-ass humans have? What are the odds that these aliens would evolve down a similar path we did and have the same bones we did, just in a different order and arrangement? That seems highly unlikely, but let's go ahead and paddle around in the kiddie pool of fantasy and assume that all intelligent life in the universe evolves down similar paths, so every single fucking life form out there in the cosmos has all of the exact same bones we do. Well, in that case, this species got fucked hard in the ass by evolution, because with the way these bones are arranged, it wouldn't even be able to move. They need some kind of evolution patched DLC update here, like a hot fix, because these aliens wouldn't be able to even take a single step.
One of the thigh bones is actually a femur, only facing the wrong way around, while the other one is a tibia. And they are completely mismatched. With the hip bone, there's no joint there at all. The poor humanoid wouldn't have made a single step. Some of the bones are simply chopped off.
So even if you go ahead and write off the coincidence that the aliens have the same bones we do, how could you possibly write off that the way their structure is set up would mean they can't move? Evolution doesn't really work that way. It wouldn't have made it this far if that were the case. And it's getting me gassy, so I'm just ripping mean ass right now. All of this alien stuff has just been so fascinating, and this video says that some of the bones were just chopped off, like kind of just chopped willy-nilly. That wouldn't really happen naturally at all. It suggests that they were made like this, with just an absolute fucking mishmash of different bones going in different places in order to look alien-like.
Note this asymmetry here. The fingers are a total mess too. The first pseudophalanges are facing in different directions on her left and right hands, with the white part facing up or down. Well, they just forgot to turn them the right way. Stuff happens.
That's pretty damning. Some of the bones are just facing the wrong way because whoops-a-daisy. And like I mentioned, some of these photos that are in this video from 2 years ago were the same ones that were presented last night. Most notably, the alien with the 3 eggs in their tummy. The pregnant alien carrying the triplets. That is in this video. That same X-ray photo was presented last night. So I think we can say with a high level of confidence that all of the information presented for these corpses 2 years ago applies to the corpses shown last night. They are the same. And if that is the case, then a very interesting component of these remains is actually the skull.
French paleontologist Julien Benoit thinks that those who crafted the small humanoid mummies used skulls of some small mammals for their heads, such as a llama or alpaca. Comparison shows that the reptiloid's cranial cavity fits perfectly the cranial cavity of a llama. The skull was then rotated so its back part faces forward. The reptiloid's face is actually the back of the poor llama's head.
I trimmed this up just a little bit to keep it brief, but they make an extremely strong argument for why this alien skull is actually that of a llama skull. The bulbs, the brain hemisphere, all of it matches up perfectly with a llama skull. The only thing is they cut out and rotated it. And the question then becomes, well, where would they get a llama skull? And the video answers that too. According to one of the historians, back a long time ago, there was actually burials for llamas in the area where these mummified remains were found. So they would have had easy access and readily available llama skulls at the site.
Where could the mummy forgers have gotten a llama skull? Historian Yuri Bereskin has told me that pre-Columbian peoples of Peru often made llama burials. Here's a fresh report about finding buried llama mummies in Peru.
Overall, I think this video makes an extremely compelling case for these being forgeries, not actually alien mummified remains or anything. Now, I have seen that the newest presentation here has the bones in the correct alignment in terms of like the ones that were backwards here in the video. Apparently, what might have happened is they recognized the error first off and then just rotated the bones properly. Though it still doesn't fix the underlying issue of why the fuck would an alien have all of the same bones we have? Like there is still just no good explanation for that other than it just being completely fraudulent really, and that this isn't a real alien remain. But like I said, I would love for this to be the real deal, completely legitimate, and hopefully soon, scientists from around the world will actually go investigate, either confirm or deny the findings, and conclude once and for all if these are real aliens, or if it truly is just a complete forgery here of some mummified remains, if it is just a bunch of bones from a bunch of different things thrown together into this creature here. So, I guess we'll see. I just wanted to show this to you because I found it to be extremely interesting. And yeah, that's really about it. So yeah. Much to the delight of my entire family, today we have received some groundbreaking news in regards to aliens. I feel like I'm giving some kind of press conference here about it because I feel so personally invested in it. For my entire life, my family has always firmly believed that extraterrestrials have not only visited this planet, but made contact with us, and we've like recovered some spacecrafts and all kinds of gadgets and gizmos that the government isn't telling us. And now they've received some vindication that that belief might be the truth. Today there was a hearing with a gentleman named David Grush who was claiming that not only have aliens come to this planet, but we have recovered some wreckage, some items, even some bodies perhaps. And this is all sworn under oath, and he is a pretty credible source all things considered. He was a military intelligence officer for about 14 years. He had, from what I understand, from what I've researched here, pretty high level clearance. He was a pretty important person in his post, and he is now putting all of this public at this hearing. Now, he hasn't presented any concrete evidence or any evidence like that, any proof, but his claims, he says, do have not only eyewitness supports, but real concrete proof, irrefutable evidence that he is unable to share publicly, but is able to share in private with Congress. So it's a very interesting development. I'll go over it a little bit more in depth. I talked about it on stream today. Overall, though, I don't think you're going to find anyone happier about this news than my dad. After the hearing today, my dad called me just full of jubilation. It was like a kid on Christmas. He was giddy, like a high schooler that actually just got a date to prom. My dad called me, laid out all of the details of what happened in the hearing, and was just so happy to hear someone that has credibility say these things because it gets him excited to hear it. He really wants to see alien proof and get to experience that truth coming to light. So this was a really cool day overall for me and my family. I still don't fully believe it, if I'm being honest, because he hasn't provided any proof. It's very hard for me to just take everyone at their word. I understand lying under oath is a serious offense, but it's not like that's never happened before. You know, you really think someone would do that? Go under oath and tell lies? Absolutely. For sure. It has happened before. It will happen again. I'm not saying it happened right now, but I just don't take anything at just the face value of the claims. I would like to see some of the evidence here. So I'm very excited to learn more about it. This has got me fucking salivating for more information and more details about all of the things that he's claiming. So let me just go ahead and play the stream clips now to bring you all up to speed on what went down. How many aliens could we take in a fight? Well, according to David Grush, we stand no chance at actually fighting them, apparently. Which, I have always said, if they are real and have visited us, well, I think aliens are real in the universe at some point. I personally haven't ever thought they visited us, but I've always said if they did, we would stand no chance. We would stand legitimately no chance. It'd be like putting a child up against, like, John Bones Jones. Like, you're never gonna win, right? And that's kind of what he said, too. One of the questions was, are our weapons sufficient to defend ourselves against them? Or something to that effect. And his answer was, absolutely not. According to my dad. So, like I said, I haven't watched the hearing yet, but once it was over, my dad called me, like, damn near celebrating. I could hear kazoos going off in the background. He's like, I told you, Charlie. I told you this day would come, that we'd have legitimate confirmation from reputable sources that aliens have come here. And he was filling me in. He was giving me the nitty-gritty behind everything here. But for those that don't know the situation, David Grush is a former military intelligence officer. We talked about him a little while ago. He is the real deal. He is who he says he is. And he does have actual pretty high-level clearance, as I understand it. And a little bit ago, he came to the public. Well, he made public statements that extraterrestrial visitors have not only been here, but have been observed, and in even certain situations, we have recovered some of their shit. And they had a hearing about this today. These are huge claims. Now, granted, he has not provided any evidence. He hasn't linked to, their social media accounts for us to double check or anything. We don't have any pictures or anything. Like, he doesn't have a picture of an alien doing a keg stand outside of Area 51 or anything. But he is a high-ranking intelligence officer who is making these claims. So it has more weight to it than most. So they had this hearing today, just kind of going over the scope of it, bringing everyone up to speed. And very interesting. He was asked point blank if there's any real biological indication that what they have is not of human origin. And he says, yes, it is not human. When asked how many people are aware of this, like in terms of like unidentified aerial phenomena, he said thousands of pilots have reported them, but are either too embarrassed to come forward, thinking people will call them crazy, or are unable to come forward because of like crackdown, something like that. Evidence should be king here. Well, he's not on trial. There's no burden of proof here. This is a hearing just to get all the information. He did say he has all of the evidence, but is unable to bring it forward to the public, but is willing to share it with Congress in what's called a skiff, I think, is what my dad called it, or my dad's just making up terms to make me sound like a fucking idiot. I've never heard of that before, but apparently it's like a private hearing, and he said he's more than willing to give over all of the evidence he has on all of his claims in the private skiff. Yeah, that's a real thing? Okay. I've never heard of that. But one thing that I said was very fishy from the start about this story is David Grush actually had expressed written permission from the DOD to come forward with alien information. So to me, he's not really a whistleblower. He's more of like a spokesperson. I don't think that necessarily pokes holes in the credibility of the claims, I guess. But it is very interesting that they're labeling him a whistleblower when he literally has permission from the teacher. This isn't a guy that fucking crawled through the trenches and threw up a signal in the sky in order to get us the information. He had permission. He had their blessing. Why is he doing this? We'll have his answer and then I'll give you my answer. He believes that he's doing the public a great service by bringing this information forward, thinking that we need to be brought into the loop here, brought into the fold in an ever-growing situation here with advanced life forms. I think the reason is distraction. I think all of this is serving as a big kind of distraction for what? I don't know. But I just find it so odd that the DOD would be like super on board with it and let him do all of this? I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the distraction would be for, but I mean, here, let's spitball some tinfoil hat shit. Let's assume I'm right and it's all a distraction. I guess what they could do next is make claims like they need to build defense systems in order to combat potential extraterrestrials, like these big-titted goth babe aliens coming to Earth looking to harvest us. We've got to stop it. So we're going to need to increase our spending on defense programs in order to make sure that we're adequately prepared for it. But I would love to believe that this is all very legitimate. David Grush legitimately has real evidence. Aliens are real. We've recovered certain things, and he can prove all of it. That's what I want. But what I really believe is that this is all somehow a distraction. That's where I'm really torn. I don't know. This is, to date, probably the most credible person to come forward with apparently other witnesses of high-ranking military origin with evidence. And we now have more access to unidentified aerial phenomena than ever. That's very hard to explain. So this is probably as credible as it's ever been. But I just don't know. It just feels artificial. He said it all under oath. If he's lying, he just ruined his life. Yeah, of course. But there is a huge difference between a testimonial and evidence. We've heard the testimonial. It's all under oath, of course. But we haven't seen any evidence yet. The Israeli space chief said the Galactic Federation is in contact with America last year. The DoD doesn't support, they just released him to say what he believes is a classified program. That's the only other comment. But that's still giving their blessing, otherwise they would have shut him down like they do most other whistleblowers. For example, like Edward Snowden, right? Like, I'd feel like if they didn't want it out, it wouldn't have got out. And I don't know what the Galactic Federation is. I didn't realize we had Commander Shepard out there on the fucking Mass Effect relay at the Citadel or something talking to us. That's news to me. If this is all real, do you think they would ever tell the public the full story? No. If not, why do you think they need to hide it? Panic. Brother, we can't even handle the most basic concepts right now. Go on Twitter for any length of time, or excuse me, the platform formerly known as Twitter, for any length of time. People won't even accept the most obvious, conclusive, true statements anymore. We are not ready for it. Why do we have any reason to listen to them when they provide no evidence? Because of where the claim is coming from. This isn't just like a Joe Schmo. This guy was a high-ranking military intelligence officer for like 14 years. Not exactly like the number one person you'd think to just go out there and lie for no real benefit to himself. No, he didn't say if the aliens were hot or not yet. I'm going to assume no. I've always thought if there were aliens out there, they'd be like insectoid-esque. How would the government even capture the spacecraft? That's exactly what I said. I have no idea. The only thing that I could even somewhat spitball a guess, assuming it's all real, is they recovered wreckage from a spacecraft that blew up somewhere in space and drifted onto Earth and crashed somewhere. I don't think it came to Earth and then crashed. It certainly wasn't shot down. Apparently he even claimed we have no chance of even, like, defending ourselves against them. So it would have just had to be like a drifting piece of something. Just because you're smart doesn't mean you can't crash. Brother, you're not just smart. If you have something that can reach Earth, that means you have something that defies our very understanding, and this is even according to David, apparently. This is what my dad said, and he's right. That means you have something that is so far beyond our comprehension we can't even prove that what we're seeing would be real. You wouldn't just crash on Earth. The only thing that I could even think would be the case is, again, something happened, maybe it hits asteroids out in space and a piece of it breaks off and lands on Earth, crashes into Earth. It wouldn't crash when it gets to Earth. They can travel the galaxy without problem, but when they get to Earth, all of a sudden they're crashing everywhere. I don't think he was claiming that there's been a ton of crashes. Just a ton of sightings. And apparently they do have in their possession some UAP fragments and shit. And I guess bodies too. Aliens heard about your performance in the Hunger Games and needed to come see it firsthand. See, like, there's a theory I'd actually subscribe to. That one would make sense. But why are the aliens here? COVID? That's probably why. COVID hit their planet real hard and they were trying to escape. Or maybe they're here to collect COVID from us. They have like a virus museum or something and they need COVID to be part of it.
I'm asking Congress to hold our government to this standard and thoroughly investigate these claims.
God, imagine we brought in an
But
alien.
as I stand here under oath now,
Actions speak louder than words. Come in here, Glorb.
Told them. In a position of extreme trust, both in my military and civilian capacities. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
Oh, that was one of the other questions they apparently asked pretty soon, is if anyone ever got injured reverse engineering any UAPs. And he said yes. But again, there's no evidence.
To which I was denied
I
access
hope there
to
will
those
be at
initial
some point.
read-ons when I,
In what possible sense is he credible just because of his position? Yeah, what? Yeah, obviously. A 14-year high-ranking military intelligence officer with, actually pretty impressive clearance? Yes. That is what would make him credible. Yeah. It's like what makes everyone credible is their position. Like, if it was me saying all of this, it would be completely uncredible. I am a worthless source. Right now, all it seems like is that they've made him a celebrity, with an official endorsement from the DoD. Which seems very weird for a whistleblower to get that kind of glamour from the people he's blowing the whistle on. I disagree. How? Look at all the other whistleblowers like Edward Snowden. Look what happened to him. Oh, here's another one. An easy one. Epstein got fucking murdered when he was about to blow the whole lid off of that crazy operation. If there's something they don't want released, it will not get released. Have you heard of Daryl Enka? Not sure if he's crazy or a fraudster, but he claims to be able to communicate with / speak to an alien named Bashar. Bashar, huh? I'm unfamiliar with the cosmic entity known as Bashar, but I'd like to get familiar with them. Messenger of good news. Bashar, how to attract anything into your life by going gamma state. Huh?
Many of you are familiar with some of the different frequency states of your brain, and you know that
yeah, 93.3 the hits. Yeah, I know those frequencies.
Different kinds of modalities, different kinds of perspectives.
So this is Bashar talking to us right now, right? I'm guessing he's in his channeling stance. He's got like the TN tri-beam going with his hand, so I'm assuming this is the alien Bashar speaking to us through Daryl.
Many of you are also not familiar with the idea called the gamma state, which is between...
Did he just fart? Was that Bashar or Daryl that tooted?
Which is between 40 and 100 cycles
Man, just shot himself.
In your brain.
Cosmically. Quantumly.
In the typical channeling state. And this particular vibration allows you to experience in the neurological net of your brain more cohesiveness, more acceleration, more connection, more synchronization.
A lot of good buzzwords here,
while
Bashar.
Also simultaneously allowing certain neural pathways to actually close down. That is the gamma state, also typically called the channeling.
Reading comments always make, like, this is all well and good. If you want to pretend to channel an alien and just spout a bunch of gobbledygook, all power to you. But it's the comments that actually just make me feel so sad. This resonates with me very much. Bashar says out loud what has been running in my head all along. Thank you for confirming that I am receiving the right information from my higher self. Oh my god, he's been teaching us how to access flow state all this time, which is something I've wanted for a long time. On top of that, he's saying flow state is the key to manifestation. Wow. It's like he's saying to a kid the key to life is to eat cake. Lots and lots of cake. Perhaps maybe I just don't understand the gamma state. Maybe I need to lock into flow state and then I'll be able to dunk on a 10-foot hoop. Perhaps I'm not being receptive to the wisdom of Bashar, the cosmic being. Wait, Danica Patrick has a YouTube channel? And she interviewed Daryl and Bashar? What in the world? Bashar predicts humanity's coming great shift in 2024. Prepare yourself now. Bashar Sedana workshop. Oh my god, he goes in front of a class?
Hi everyone. Hi.
Hey.
Someone who's lost in the song, an actor who becomes the part, in essence, is in a channeling state. But in that state, you can also access other portions of your own consciousness. You can access...
Oh, so Bashar lives inside of him.
Portions of information from throughout the universe.
Jekyll and Hyde style.
And make connections with other beings, other dimensions, what have you, depending on how you wish to focus the idea of that channeling.
He's interdimensionally traveling.
For me, this began... I received what I experienced to be a telepathic connection from Bashar and his people.
Okay.
In that one instant, an actual memory came back of having made an agreement with Bashar to do this before this life.
Okay.
I understood in that moment that the UFO had been shown to me on purpose to get me to go in the direction I needed to go, so that by the time it was time for me to fulfill that agreement I had made, I would be ready. And
it's almost like the Rocco's Basilisk paradox. Very cool. Daryl, this is incredible stuff. What was the agreement? You'd agree to be his vessel so he could be a motivational speaker on Earth? That seems like a very underwhelming use of this cosmic being's powers. You're telling me that Bashar decides to use his abilities to just tell people to brush their teeth and eat well? And, like, have a positive mindset? That seems like a complete waste. Look at his website and his store. He's written 200 books since the 1980s. Jesus Christ, Bashar. You should show your dad this video. My dad doesn't believe in any of this shit. My dad just believes in the aliens building the pyramids. I don't know what to tell you. That's like the one, that's pretty much it. Like, this kind of shit he would absolutely laugh at. He wouldn't text me being like, Charlie, you hear what Bashar said today about our horoscopes? Isn't that some shit? Like, that. My dad doesn't believe in that. Can Bashar take over like Sukuna? I don't think so. I think so. He was describing the channeling state. I think he needs to get into the zone. And if he's not in the zone, I don't think Bashar has like a door to get there. I don't think the alien planet is sending their best. Yeah, maybe Bashar is kind of like a dweeb on his home world. But to us, well, not to us. To Daryl, he's super cool.
Bashar is really another entity, or whether it's a portion of my own consciousness or whatever. The altered state is real. The information seems to have the ability to help people do what they need to do to make the kind of changes they need to make in their lives. And for that reason, I figured that's reason enough to go ahead and see where this goes.
I didn't expect that. He's like, oh, so it could be an alien, an interdimensional being, or it could just be some part of my subconscious while I'm conscious. No, I like the channeling community. There was another channeler I used to watch frequently. God, what was his name? He was the one that would channel the Yael. I'll just do that. He was the one that was like, you will send your best and brightest to school this morning. It's a very good day for learning. Blasting at you live from the Yael headquarters. That guy? Who was that? Does anyone remember? No, this isn't the guy. It was an older guy. Yael were very talkative through a bunch of different channelers, but there's one in particular I'm referring to, and I can't remember his name. No, it is him. He made a rap song about them called Bringing in the Yael. Thanks for your sub, Kev. I don't think it is, though. He was much older, unless the Yael de-aged him.
The ones we are of Ashtar Command, we are of the Pleiadians, we are of the Pleiadian civilization, of the Pleiadian consciousness.
Billionaire Boys Club. Isn't that Kevin Spacey's movie?
Move through these ripples of time-space as your civilization, as your solar system moves into a new era of the galaxy, a new area of the galaxy, and a new
We
era.
moved to a new area of the
civilization.
galaxy?
The idea is that there are time fields, time-space equations.
Wonderful message. It repeated everything I've been seeing in my meditation. In your meditations, you've been seeing that we're changing the area of where we're located in the galaxy. That would cause such an immense change in daily life as we know it. That would be immediately recognizable. That couldn't just happen without us knowing. Oh, here we go. Bringing in the Yael. Music video with footage of Yael ship. Wait, this is huge. He's got footage from inside of their spacecraft?
Bringing in the Yael. Yael, bringing in the Yael. Our family from the stars, on earth they will dwell. Bringing in the Yael, bringing in the Yael.
The kind of music to throw your ass in a circle to.
Bringing in the Yael to get this party popping.
I feel like I've actually heard this before. I think you're right.
Rocking. You know it's a boat that desperately needs to be rocked. We may all come together, there will go the shadow government. And I know you're thinking retribution, but it'll be different. Let me clear up this confusion. Cause the it's gonna be love. We ain't gonna give nothing but kisses and hugs.
Yeah. Kiss and hug them.
And then extension to you. I know it's hard to discard the old ways of war, but see it through. Cause there ain't no ours. We bringing in the yeah.
It actually might be the same guy. I could be misremembering. I thought he was much older. Because I'm pretty sure I've heard that song. That definitely opened some neural pathways the Yael wanted closed in my brain. Oh, this is a classic. This one's a classic. Teen girl abducted by praying mantis alien. Ancient alien. I've got to send that to my dad. My dad loves ancient aliens. How the fuck? Really, Dad? A girl abducted by a praying mantis alien? Ancient aliens. Aliens in disguise. Warren researcher. We've taken many humans. God damn it. Channeling the ninth dimensional Pleiadian collective. Interview with extra dimensionals. Here we go.
Ah, yes. Hello, dear. This is the Ninth Dimensional Pleiadian Collective, and it is a pleasure and an honor to have the opportunity to connect with you. So,
nice to meet you.
In a short time today, we think we're going to cover a pretty lengthy or a pretty substantial amount of ground. So we're very, very excited. So thank you for the opportunity to connect.
Absolutely. What's very interesting to me is all of these like ninth dimensional beings that are able to be channeled through these goobers are always just on standby. It's like they're waiting to be channeled. They must be like maybe interns of the other ninth dimensional Pleiadian society. Like they just have to sit around like fucking phone operators waiting for some human to channel them. That sounds like so boring. Yeah, just actually channeling a call center. Why does no one ever channel like a really aggressive alien? Or like a really cool one, like, hey, sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm fucking 5 3-titted alien babes. Call back in a moment. Then break connection. Nothing ever like that. It's always like, oh, it's such an honor to be speaking with all of you on Earth. This is a ninth dimensional Pleiadian collective reporting in live. What do you want to know? You need to watch Daryl connect to Bashar. It's hilarious. I just watched Daryl connecting to Bashar. Or does he have like a ritual for it? Alright, he's jacking into the upside down. Assuming athletic stance. Oh, good crack.
Sorry.
No apologies. Do what you need to do to get the aliens on the horn. Oh. Picked up a bad frequency there. Oh shit. We're losing him. He's going too deep. Bashar, let this man go. Where's the holy water? That actually sounds like Darth Vader's mask. Holy shit. What cool noises. Now, if he actually starts levitating, then I'll be impressed. No.
Boy, let's say good day to you this day of your time.
Hey.
How are you all?
Don't yell at me, Bashar. What the fuck, man?
All right, I will take that as an okay.
Does he have an
First
accent?
of all, we would like to thank each and every one of you individually, and all of you together collectively.
I love how he put on an accent for Bashar this time, but then later on he got rid of it. He's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Bashar just lost his accent, his dialect. He outgrew. The old Yael guy you were thinking of is Sean Swanson. Is it? Hey, this is my boy. I think this is him, right? Yeah.
And the idea of, from your perspective, not of Earth, but human beings. And
See, I knew it.
Very
I knew it.
Similar in appearance to that then that you are familiar with Earth humans in your planet. We then are of another planetary location, and in that we actually have an origination of more...
Why do the Yael talk like that? See, Harvard published a study saying aliens may be living on Earth disguised as humans. I saw... It's not like a real thing, though. It's like a theory. But based on actually nothing besides, like, maybe they are. There's membership first. I haven't read the whole thing, though. Just little bits and pieces here. Let me pull it up. Aliens may be living among us disguised as humans, claims Harvard study. Recent Harvard University study has revealed that aliens might be living among us probably underground or on the moon. Please, get this garbage off my screen. The Human Flourishing Program of Harvard University also stated that UFOs might be alien spaceships that are visiting to meet their alien friends living on Earth. Man, this sounds so real. Maybe the aliens come here because they have so many friends that they want to stop by and say hello to. So obviously the most efficient way of doing that is flying all the way across the goddamn universe in order to see their friends in person and say hi. More commonly referred to as UFOs and extraterrestrial beings could be living underground on the moon or even walking among humans. The research also explores the idea that UFOs are unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP. Paper also states that the author is aware of the depth of evidence and theory that also tentatively support another extraterrestrial explanation, the cryptoterrestrial hypothesis, linking UAP activity to the action of hidden non-human entities. Where is the evidence? Or anything grounded at all in reality? This theory claims that aliens might have traveled from the moon or other places to visit the Earth and hidden themselves among us. They traveled from the moon to Earth. Brother, that's like a walk in the scale of the cosmos. We would have seen them do that. Magical cryptoterrestrials. These beings are like earthbound angels having magical rather than technological relationships with humans, like folklore creatures like fairies and elves. Isn't Harvard supposed to be prestigious? Is this in the paper? Or are they just going over all kinds of potential theories? Fairies and elves? The primary weakness of the theory is its perceived oddity, especially for those accustomed to conventional scientific explanations. You mean logic? The primary weakness. As if there's any strengths to it. Other than, like, I want to believe in this, so maybe it's possible. The researchers admitted that their research was likely to be regarded as skeptically by most scientists, but it urged the community to consider their claim in a spirit of epistemic humility and openness. What fucking research? Scrolling through Tumblr? Like, what? Where's the actual paper? All right, I'm reading the actual paper now. This is ridiculous. Now I've got to see. I did not want to bother reading this paper, but whatever. Oh, here we go. From the Human Flourishing Program. What is this? Okay, let's start here. What is the Harvard Human Flourishing Program? That sounds like MK Ultra, except you're brainwashing college kids into being fucking idiots. The Human Flourishing Program, Harvard University. It's integrating knowledge across disciplines. Knowledge, huh? Fairies and elves. Founded in 2016, the Human Flourishing Program at Harvard aims to study and promote human flourishing. I love that. Please define human flourishing. What does that mean? Like, I'm flourishing by opening magic cards because it fills me with a sense of satisfaction. Would that classify as human flourishing? And to develop systematic approaches to the synthesis of knowledge across disciplines. This is just an absolute nothing statement. That's just buzzword for buzzword's sake. Many topics that are fundamental to human well-being, such as happiness itself, virtue, religious community, meaning, and purpose, have traditionally been viewed as principally falling within the purview of the humanities, often of philosophy or theology. However, robust empirical research literature of these topics is now developed from sociology, political science, economics, education, psychology, medicine, public health, and other empirical sciences. The program's research contributes to the broad question of how knowledge from the quantitative social sciences can be integrated with that of the humanities and questions of human flourishing and how best to carry out the synthesis of knowledge across disciplines. Hopes to bring greater unity to empirical social sciences and humanities. This actually told me nothing. You told me nothing with this. I came into this not knowing what this human flourishing program aimed to do and how, and I'm leaving not knowing what it aims to do or how. Our research. Promotion of flourishing. It sounds like a cult. Promotion of flourishing. The Promotion of Flourishing project seeks to develop and evaluate properties of new measures of human flourishing, drawing upon happiness and life satisfaction, mental and physical health, meaning and purpose, character and virtue, and close social relationships. Alright, so this is the Human Flourishing Program. Your guess is as good as mine. Now, what is back up. What the fuck do aliens have to do with human flourishing? Magical fairies and elves? How does that fall into this department? The crypto-terrestrial hypothesis, a case for scientific openness to a concealed earthly explanation for unidentified anomalous phenomena. Thank you. Yeah, this is the one. Then we explore over 5 sections, limits to historical and geological knowledge, traces of lost civilization, traces of underground civilization, traditions around magical crypto-terrestrials, and UAP-related activity considerations, and UAP-related activity underground, underwater, and nearby, i.e. the moon. We conclude by noting that across these various considerations are actually 4 distinct CTH, whose merits we briefly consider. We recognize these CTHs may rightly be regarded skeptically by most scientists, but argue they nevertheless should not be ruled out and deserve consideration in a spirit of... Yeah. But, okay, let me see. There better be some fucking banger evidence. Show me some evidence about the magical fairies being aliens or whatever. It's all just complete fucking speculation, based on nothing. The ideas canvassed thus far, while not generally accepted by contemporary natural science paradigms, nevertheless still fit somewhat within their rough boundaries. Aliens on the ocean floor or subterranean hominids would be highly surprising, but not genuinely metaphysically revisionary in any strong sense, and essentially just involve extrapolating from activities in which we humans already undeniably engage, from flying spacecraft to living in caves. What? This is nothing. It's just straight up nothing. We can't rule out the possibility that there are some magical crypto-terrestrials on the ocean floor. I mean, I fucking guess. I guess. Just like we can't rule out the possibility I shit my pants in the next 5 minutes. Like, it's super possible. Like, I could. I don't think I will. Like, I'm very confident I won't. But I guess we can't fully rule it out. It's just a statement that means nothing. Oh my god. Future human time travelers was just dropped in here with a source there. We're talking about fucking John Teeter again? Fucking time travelers and interdimensional beings? Is there warp drives in the paper? You know what? I'm going to control F warp drive. No. No warp drives, but there are Russian warplanes engaged with UFOs. Oh god, if warp drives came up, I would have blown a gasket. I'm not going to just keep fishing through this. How odd. How odd. This dude's paper seems like it's his D&D campaign notes. So fucking true. Yeah. We need a deeper dive. A red thread. On that one Harvard paper. I have to... So, one thing I learned is that you can kind of publish anything. Well, not you as like just some random goober. But things will just get published without actually being fully peer-reviewed. So it doesn't necessarily constitute like real legitimate backing. You can kind of just do it.